very passionate, means very passionately he was living his life, and he was dancing, he was laughing, he's celebrating every moment of his life. Yeah. So he always, even anywhere, wherever he was going, he used to bring joy there. His life was full of celebration. So through this topic, I want to actually convey about the middle path.
Right. Exactly. So what is this middle path, Dr. Newton? Because, especially in India, I don't know why, I don't know how, but spirituality has very gotten too intertwined and too linked. People have become conditioned to see spirituality many a times as sacrifice. So sacrificing your normal life, sacrificing your fun, sacrificing everything, even sacrificing negativity, to a big extent. So how do we walk this middle path, and what do you mean by the middle
path? Buddha's life was a great example of middle path. Though the initial part of his life, he was gone into an extreme.
Right.
He actually renounced everything
for
the sake of finding the truth. But once he came back to his wife, Yashodhara asked him about, do you require to renounce everything? Do you need to leave the family to be enlightened, to achieve enlightenment? Buddha said, no. No need to go to forest, no need to starve, no need to chant mantras for thousands of years to be enlightened. One can stay at home and be enlightened. And one need not renounce anything. So one can actually find that middle ground. Buddha reached to the very depths of the ocean. At the same time, he reached the heights of the sky, and he found the middle ground. He is the most earthly man, I find Buddha is always in the middle ground.
But did he actually go back, Dr. Newton, to his family and everything?
Yes, he gone back. But most of the historians, they don't report these kinds of things because they always project the holy part, the human part will be always, historians keep it like a secret. They don't report those experiences. But I guess Buddha was not, against participation in, all the daily life activities like dancing or singing and celebrating. And I always visualize Buddha not in only that form, like meditating under a tree, but also I see Buddha with the guitar playing a song. And Buddha on the dance floor, like how Michael Jackson dances, he is full of awareness. Where Buddha dances, there's nothing like, the dance, it's a masterpiece. So anything he does with such passion and compassion and with awareness. So Buddha, after reaching to the depths of the suffering, means he realized the suffering that everyone is going through. He gone into such depths. There's nothing, no more possibility of going beyond that. No more depths are possible. He has seen the very at a microscopic level. He's seen the suffering of human beings, and his quest made him to realize that truth, that suffering is man-made. It's coming from avidya, means ignorance. We don't know about the true self. So he always told that you have to be emptied out, empty yourself. Many people think that it's a nihilistic approach, means a negative approach. Oh, we have to empty everything. I have to empty my money, empty my everything about life, empty my everything about life. But he was saying deconditioning by emptiness. Empty all the idiotic, stupid thoughts. And empty your baggage, emotional baggage, empty your ego, empty yourself fully, so that you are completely present in this moment. When we are fully present in this moment, every moment is a beautiful discovery, a mystery to be lived. It's a beautiful present. So I think Buddha has reached in that way the middle ground. Even we can achieve the same thing. When Buddha could do it, we can do it.
So, Dr. Newton, how do we empty ourselves? Because that is a big challenge, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the most simplest form that anyone can practice is meditation practice to empty ourselves. Just doing nothing and sitting silently. Just doing nothing. Many people are scared to do nothing because they want to fill their present moment life with something, and we have to be nobody in meditation. When we can be doing nothing and being nobody, that moment you are meditating. Means the silence happen. We don't need to attempt to be silent. You naturally become silent. And Buddha given a beautiful method. Even though we try to be nobody, it's very difficult because our human mind wants to be somebody. We don't want to be our natural selves. We want to be the Alexander the Great. We want to be the Cleopatra. We want to be the star, and which we are ourselves. We are born to be ourselves, with natural selves, and we have to be nobody. Means image, ambition, and all that we have to drop. Second point is do nothing, no activity, no mental activity, no thoughts about the past, future. And he said, observe your breathing. If you're still unsuccessful to empty yourself, observe your breathing. Be mindful of your natural, normal breath. And that's the most easiest and simplest form of meditation I have come across. And Buddha is a champion. He said that if I could empty my mind, you could also do it.
Right.
He has given this simple method.
Okay, so but when thoughts come, Dr. Newton, when you're meditating and thoughts come, yes, how do we treat these thoughts?
We don't, because that's the function of the mind. If you try to, forcibly stop the thoughts, thinking process in the mind, it's like going against your own nature of the mind. Because it's a natural functioning of the mind. Only thing is you learn a method, a kind of beautiful technology, a technique, that how to disidentify with your mind. Mind will go on thinking, but you don't identify, don't feed your energy with your attention to the thoughts. For example, you place attention on thoughts coming from the past, your childhood memories. They go on, becoming more and more. It becomes worse. And by withdrawing from it and paying attention to your breath, you learn that technique, exactly how to disidentify with the mind. And after some time, your mind feels, this fellow is not giving me attention. There's no point in thinking. Forget it. Naturally, it subsides. Buddha used to give this example of the pond which is full of dirty water, like a cesspool. Don't do anything. Just be an observer. Watch it. Don't try to, stir with a stick, or don't throw the pebble into that water. Just even the mind watch. Be a detached observer. Disidentify first. Right. That's what Buddha said. It's the most simplest form Buddha advised.
And but one more thing is there, Dr. Newton. In life, even once we start practicing meditation and we get the hang of it, meditation is a practice just like anything else. Once you get more and more, you're better at observing your breath, becoming detached from your thoughts. What happens when you wake up from your meditation, you get up from your meditation, and now you're in your world, you're in your life, okay? And you are faced with the same emotional patterns, the same triggers, the same people, the same places that cause reactions within you. So you've meditated and you've gotten up, but now you start losing sometimes the calm that you've achieved or the balance that you've achieved. Can we speak about that, and can you give us some practical tips on how we can maintain that state?
Yes, yes, Pinky. Because these are the two aspects in meditation. One is meditation per se, and second is mindfulness. So after meditation practice, when we are with open eyes and we're entering into the world with all our wakefulness, and this time we are going to be very mindful. mindful of every small activity. Even while we are speaking, it's a mindful speech, mindful eating, mindful way of conversing, everything so mindfully. That moment we'll be able to observe reactive states. The triggers do come to us because if we try to live in a world where there are no triggers, if we fantasize that, oh, the world must be free from triggers, people must be all good people, it is impossible.
Impossible.
It's only it lives in the only in our dream, but it's not the reality. In the reality, there are different people who will press the buttons, push the buttons of us, and definitely we need to deal with it. And that moment we need to catch ourselves. Be watchful in that moment. Whenever you're getting triggered, that means you're given an opportunity to refine your awareness. You know that immediately a reactive thoughts are coming to you, anger is rising in you. Become aware of that. In that moment, something very beautiful happens. There is some shift that happens because your awareness itself will make you not react. And immediately, sometimes we almost like vomit out all our emotions on people.
Yeah.
We blurt out everything on them. And in that moment, you can be very responsive instead of reactive. So you can slow down, you just notice. You only thank that person who stirred your emotions instead of being, because he is given his opportunity to notice yourself. Because Buddha's life is a great example of mindfulness. His whole life was complete training about mindfulness. He was such a simple being and an extraordinary being with extraordinary awareness. Even people used to write in the ancient scriptures, some of the Buddhist scriptures, that how Buddha used to walk, that itself is a delight to watch, it seems. The way he just keeps the robe on him is also a delight to watch with mindfulness. Every movement of his hand also is mindful. And the way he speaks to people, it straight away comes from his heart, from his wisdom. It's not coming reactively. And one time, one woman was scolding Buddha because they were all begging for food. They visited one village. The woman was scolding Buddha, you are such a, very robust and good-looking, handsome and young person. Can't you work hard and earn your food? Why are you begging? Almost a few hours she was scolding. Buddha was just not reacting. He was just humble. He was just looking. He was just observing without reacting. And finally, she got so much exhausted and she said, why are you not reacting? Are you not a human being? Human beings supposed to react. And Buddha said very wisely in that moment, with all the awareness, he said, if some gift is given to me, if I take the gift, it belongs to me. If I don't receive the gift, and the gift goes back to the person who is giving the gift to me. So you have offered the gift to me, you have scolded me, you have uttered certain few words, that I did not receive it. So it belonged to you. It's not belonging to me. So Buddha always lived with such awareness. So many stories, very, very simple stories. It conveys such beautiful messages from the life of Buddha. One time, one practical situation has come. Buddha's life, they used to travel from one village to other village. Whenever all the Buddhist monks, there were around 500 monks used to travel along with Buddha. They used to go to village. 3 days camp used to be there. So one village, they used to reside for 3 days, and they will take shelter in certain few homes. They know that difficulty. Buddha told the Sangha that if we stay for a long time, Atithi Devo Bhava will not happen. People will be, when this guest will leave my home, they will think that way. Buddha knows about the difficulties. Even the hosts need to feel good. They will be okay with 3 days. After 3 days, we need to leave. That day, when they reach to one particular village, there are around 30 members of Buddha Sangha, because they were in different villages spreading meditation. So Ananda came. Ananda was a cousin and also a disciple of Buddha. Said to Buddha, one thing I must tell you. When I came and I found one woman who was so beautiful, in a very beautiful home, and she invited me to stay in her home. She is a single lady and no one with her. And I came to know from others that she was a prostitute also. And all Sangha members were, chit-chatting now. See, Ananda was tempted. He is losing monkhood. He is going to violate certain boundaries. All that. Buddha calmly said, okay, Ananda, yes, you must not refuse her invitation, because she invited with all her heart. It's a compassionate gesture. You must go, kindly go and be there for 3 days. The whole Sangha was now rumors, what Ananda will not come back, he will only marry the woman, he will stay there, he will leave the whole Sangha. What happened after the first day? All the monks were also listening to what's happening there, wants to watch what's happening to Ananda. So all their eyes are on him. So there was a sound coming. And Ananda also singing along with the lady. Again the rumors, Ananda started singing to the music, some kind of, they have fun and all the music is happening. He's forgetting about all the path. The second day, they're dancing, he's dancing along with the girl. And the third day, not only dance, singing and dancing together. The third day. They thought now no one will, he will not be there in the Sangha. And the third day, they have to gather at one place. Everyone was already gathered. Ananda finally arrived. No one expected Ananda will join, but he came back. He came back not as a one person. He came back as another person also. One more person joined the Sangha. That lady also became a monk that day. She was following she was wearing the Buddhist robes. She was learned about mindfulness and awareness. And everyone now was so silent, was touched by, even silently how Buddha was guiding the whole Sangha with so much awareness. He knew that when our intentions are pure, when we are mindful of our every moment, we only, can influence people. Those external influences will not be corrupting us. We only can transform. Seeds of transformation can be sown in people. That's what, when I read this story, it touched my heart. It's really very good. I really like this one.
But Dr. Newton, I just want to ask, so a few questions, and one of them being that sometimes what happens is that we are on the path and we cannot become Buddha overnight. Some people can be, but for the masses, generally speaking, it is very difficult to become Buddha overnight or a Buddha-like disciple overnight. That we are constantly in a state of awareness and we are very mindful of every moment. What happens at that time when you are on a path, you've achieved certain level of understanding. You're walking the path, you're giving it your best. But suddenly a day comes when you just fall. You become reactive. You become. And sometimes this question arises within people. Can I be spiritual and be angry? Can I be spiritual and sometimes have negative emotions? Can I be spiritual and also be reactive? So, this is it's a very common feeling when people are not so practiced at mindfulness and awareness.
Yes, Pinky, that's very true. Because even that's also very good way for cultivating the awareness. Because there are going to be eclipses in everyone's life, like a lunar, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. And for those brief moments, one may lose their cool and may react and may lose the awareness. It's okay. And become aware that you lost the awareness. the very next moment. Maybe for a few hours you lost awareness. It's okay. You have to be so compassionate towards yourself. Buddha never forced anyone. You have to be so strict and now I punish you. If you did this, you lacked awareness. Not that way. He was so compassionate. He was always insisting that it's okay. Become aware of your unawareness. Catch yourself being unaware. So that's the key. That's why it's okay to be angry, be sometimes falling down and committing mistakes. And we can always learn with our awareness again, regain your strength, stand back again, walk the path, move forward. So that's why Buddha always given the hope, possibility to everyone, that he said everyone can become a Buddha. He is very radical and revolutionary. He did not stop anyone to become a Buddha. He said, if I could become, he never encouraged people to be disciples at all. Devotees are not a question at all, because his path is always a practical path. He said, practice, less theory. He never given lectures and intellectual discussions. No, not at all. He was always insisting, close your eyes, observe the breathing, and be mindful when you are doing anything in your life. Very simple teachings. And he was encouraging people to recognize their Buddha nature. He said, Buddha is in everyone. Only thing is recognize it. Wake up. One day with awareness, you will recognize it. That's what is the hope that he has given to everyone. That's why I like Buddha, because he did not make spirituality as a faraway reality, an imaginary, 1,000 years, 1,000 lifetimes journey. No, he said, even this moment, he said, if you can't feel enlightenment right now under the ground, under your feet, you will never be enlightened. He said, he's very radical in that. He said, it is now and here. He is such an amazing master. He said, those who can, in this moment, can stay in this moment fully, full of awareness, without any kind of unwholesomeness in their thoughts, they reach parinirvana in this moment. In Pali language, he said, Nirayam papa kammino saggam sugati niyonti parinibbanti anasava. That means those who have these unwholesome and life-negating thoughts, negative thoughts, they're going to create such kinds of hell right now. In this moment, they experience hell. Those who have pure, like a positive and life-enhancing thought forms, they create heavenly experience right now. We said those who reach this silent mindfulness and awareness, this very moment they experience parinirvana. So he did not say that parinirvana you will achieve after this kind of intense sadhana. That's why Buddha is different from Buddhists, being a Buddhist, being Buddhism. Isms and that's a later part. After the master disappears, the whole thing will drop down. We only worship Guru. We now say, pray to Buddha. Oh, Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Only chanting the name of Buddha, one will not become Buddha. Buddha said, you have to be practicing what I practice this way and I realize my soul. And the same way you need to do. So that's the amazing part of Buddha's, teachings.
So when Buddha says he attained enlightenment, or when people on the path are seeking enlightenment, what is enlightenment? What is this thing that we're after? How do you define enlightenment? Or what was it when Buddha said, or the disciples around him says that, he became enlightened? What is the enlightenment that we are seeking?
Yes. One thing is he talked about 3 levels of degrees of enlightenment. The basic enlightenment anyone can reach in the same lifetime. Nirvana, he called it as nirvana. Means anyone who ever comes into the path of awareness and meditation, they have this quest, why I'm suffering, why there is suffering. If I'm not suffering, why there is suffering around me? Why COVID-19? Why at this point of time? So everyone has this question. And that question opens the doors of wisdom. And he said there is a cause for it. There is avidya is the cause, ignorance is the cause, because you don't know about yourself, and you are attached, you're clinging, you're craving, you are not allowing things to happen. So he said, in this very moment, you can transform the suffering into great, what is called as wisdom. The lotus flower can bloom from the mud. From the place where the mud is, from the same place, from the mud only, the suffering, from the suffering only, the enlightenment arises. Means you will realize that, okay, my eyes have seen the suffering so far because I have limited views, I have limited thoughts, I have limited way of viewing this world, I have limited kinds of behaviors, limited behaviors, and my wisdom is very narrow, my wisdom is very limited. That's why I am perceiving it, everything as really a tragedy here. But this inner transformation, you watch from a different set of eyes. He talked about it, Anapanasati meditation, what experiences we get, the Vipassana experience, meditational experiences, which shows you that you are not this body alone, you are much more than this, you are much more than the mind, much more the emotion field. You are that consciousness which is watching everything. So he said, once you arrive at that place of consciousness, which is non-linear and non-local, then you are free from suffering. Suffering in that moment ceases. So far you thought everyone is really troublemakers for you, everyone taking advantage over you, but now you perceive they are the great benefactors to you. You consider them as your teachers who showing you the path. They trigger you to come into this greater realization that you're much more than this physical reality. So this is the first basic enlightenment. The existence of soul means consciousness, which is not limited by our personality. And the second level of enlightenment is when you can know that you are not only this three-dimensional entity, you are the multi-dimensional entity, and you have lived many pasts, you are going to live many futures, and your soul is eternal, seeker and eternally evolving, and you are not different from the that consciousness which created everything. So this, he called it as the next level of enlightenment. He called it as parinirvana. In the parinirvana, the maturity in enlightenment, not only you are the soul, individual soul, you are the collective soul. You are part of everything. And finally, the Mahaparinirvana, Buddha talked about it, is another new dimension that Buddha has stated. He said, this can be achieved not through your own personal pursuits, but he says, when you can be of great service to the life, when you can make thousands of Buddhas, thousands of people to reach enlightenment or nirvana, then you reach to Mahaparinirvana. That's called Buddha state. The first state he calls it as Arihanta, the second he calls it Bodhisattva, the third one is called Buddha state, Tathagata state. So I think enlightenment is the sum total of knowing about yourself. So initially we come to know that we are only the consciousness in the soul. Later on, Buddha talked about anatta, means there is no separate self. As he said, you have an individual soul. That's what is the first realization everyone gets. I'm an individual soul, I am different from others. But later on, Buddha talked about anatta, means there is no separate self. Your self is no more individuated self. You are part of the everything. You and the whole existence is not different. This is the parinirvana stage. And the third stage is always to go to co-creator stage, where you participate in the spreading work, and you uplift many souls, like Mahavira, like Buddha, and all of them. Many Tirthankaras have this.
Right.
After they become a Tirthankara, they say that I will make at least 1,000 people Tirthankaras. I will make them cross the shore. So that is the 3 degrees of enlightenment that Buddha was talking about.
Dr. Newton, on the journey to enlightenment, where do you see people struggling the most?
The first stage. the very first step itself, because the mind is the most tricky part of a human being. It distracts us, and we need to be, sincere in our practice, so that we learn how to disidentify from the mind, and also to decondition this mind. It takes a lot of practice, like layers of conditioning process. Well, even spirituality, we have so many conditionings. We think that, many fear spirituality because they think that I have to run away from life, I have to be an escapist, I have to renounce my family and all that. They are scared. They're scared to be enlightened also because of the conditioning layers. So I find the first step itself, people, they struggle a lot. And once we, know the no mind state, how to become zero. Those who become empty and zeros in their mind, they are heroes. The very next moment, then everything, the whole universe fills them because you have emptied yourself. The whole universe is you. You are the universe, and universe is you in that moment. So
that is where, Dr. Newton, what about, see, regular negative emotions and everything, somehow a lot of people can achieve the evolution over. But sometimes we suffer terrible losses in life. Terrible tragedies happen to people. And this is very intense trauma. It could be, loss through death, or accidental death of somebody, or loved people, or seeing great illness, or seeing loved ones suffer like anything. Tragedy of that level, especially in a time like today when there is so much fear of death and fear of loss. That I feel, for a normal person, it's a very hard obstacle to overcome. So when people are at that state, how do they approach life?
Yeah. So when we are into such situations, definitely this emotional reality, it will make us go into roller coaster rides, because so many emotions, it is like a whirlpool. I always think that one emotion is going to bring many other emotions. They're going to gang up. For example, one anger, simple anger, it also, after expressing the anger, you feel guilty. After guilty, you go into depression, and you feel sad for expressing all that anger. It's not one emotion. Emotions are always interconnected. So I find the human part of us is so important to embrace all the emotions, the human personality structure as it is. That's what is the Buddha's approach is. He said, mindful of your even emotions. He was always compassionate to all the people also who are suffering. He never said, no, this is illusion, be empty, don't cry. He never discouraged that way. Always, hugged, and he took their hands. Those who are crying, he helped people. It's okay to have these human emotions and feelings, so natural and it's so beautiful. It's okay to cry. And in that most important moment is when we are embracing all of them as it is. There's a possibility that you can completely be emptied. When you emote fully, you empty also all the emotional energies then and there. Most of the times we think that it's okay not to be emotional. We are brainwashed, conditioned. In the spiritual path, many people think that, you have to become now like a monk. You should not be emotional. You should not be angry. You should not be. No, it's not that. The Buddha, I also see a Buddha in a different dimension, like an angry Buddha. When he has to be angry, he can show the anger on people also. He can be angry also. Because when a disciple is committing a kind of a blunder, he's also causing trouble to so many thousands of people, then he can be angry. The anger is justified in that moment. So I don't find that it is anti-spiritual, being emotional. It's perfectly okay to be emotional. But only thing is, Buddha said emotional awareness. Carry always anything that you go through in life. add awareness to it, attach to it, then all things will be taken care.
Right.
Even a thief comes to join a meditation class, not to judge a thief. Teach him meditation and let him learn about mindfulness. Ask him to be mindfully do the thieving process, the stealing process. His profession he can continue. But very soon that he will leave this profession. Of course, this awareness itself will refine people. That's why many people after meditation practice, after the cultivation of awareness in their life, naturally the emotions they dissolve. They don't find that the old emotions still they are no more carrying them like a baggage. So it's very interesting. For example, even the grieving for the dead ones. So natural. We miss the physical presence of the loved ones. It's natural to grieve, not to stop those tears. But we also, with awareness, when we go through that emoting process, we touch to a deeper dimension of life where we realize that the soul which is eternal, the soul which is beyond time space, and we understand from that perspective the memory of the person is still the person is alive in you. The person is alive in your breath. So you don't miss them after your awareness is cultivated. It is deepened more. That's what I feel, that we should not feel guilty for having emotions. Many people feel guilty to have, feel shameful that they're angry, still angry after entering into meditation. And we have to completely feel normal. It's okay to be like that. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay that sometimes you do mistake. It's perfectly all right. But always cultivate awareness. Along with awareness, you know how to refine and progress.
So, Dr. Newton, I have two questions for you, and then we will take some questions and answers. If anybody feels like, you guys could start typing your questions while I ask Dr. Newton a couple of questions, last questions. One is, why was Buddha so linked with celibacy and his monkhood? Why it almost feels like if you have to follow in the footsteps of the Buddha, then you have to be celibate. So many people don't want to renounce that aspect of their life, or family life. Yeah.
So I feel I want to answer in two different perspectives. One is, historians might have deleted that part of the story of Buddha where he had a beautiful sexual encounters with his wife after his enlightenment when he returned.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I feel that, I can understand that, because always they want to project only the spiritual holy side, but the Buddha is the most humane master, He's a very simple, ordinary, very ordinary. And I feel that he is down to earth. That's why I feel that he was completely in a middle path. But second aspect, I want to also answer this question through the other perspective, that once we realize that there is a greater joy than the sexual joy, the joy of, every moment, the joy, ecstasy that we get when we are actually living in a dimensional plane or the higher dimensional reality in this moment, that joy is incomparable, unparalleled to the sexual joy. The celibacy, that's why he did not say, you be celibate, then only you will become enlightened. No, I think he might have said, celebrate. Everyone missed that R part. The letter R is missing. But I feel that Buddha is always encouraging people to be the householders, family people. And he said, I am a monk and I left the family. Does not mean that you don't need to leave your wife and children. He said, stay in your home and you can still achieve enlightenment. So that is the message of Buddha, that I feel that's what the approach of Buddha.
And the one last question, Dr. Newton. Today, if Buddha were amongst us, what would he have said about COVID-19?
Okay, Buddha is present right now with us. He only tells that, don't fear. Don't fear, because your fear is being born from your ignorance. Know that this situation has come to teach you the profound lessons. It's teaching us about the coexistence. You need to exist with all the beings, animals, plants, and don't harm, don't violate, don't be violent towards animals, don't kill animals. That's what Buddha says. Buddha's whole life is that. I can hear him saying that the COVID-19 is not a curse, not a kind of disaster. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for the whole humanity to wake up, to be more compassionate. His whole life is the life of loving kindness, compassion. He used to tell everyone to be metta and karuna. These are the two words that he used. And even we need to also bring this loving kindness towards animals and plants. Right now, this is so essential. And I personally feel also the same way. I resonate with Buddha that whatever he's saying, that it's a lesson to be learned for the humanity, and we need to wake up. I also resonate with the same information.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Newton, can you show me the questions, please? Guys, tech team. Okay. Some people want to know some short stories of Buddha. Any good books for the short stories of Buddha?
Short stories of Buddha. Jataka tales are really good.
Okay.
Jataka tales is his own past life experiences he narrated in the form of stories. All the stories, even sometimes he was speaking in metaphors, in symbolic language, like a story of a parrot and which is trying to help others. One story I remember, the story of this parrot who had the father and mother who was blind. And this parrot used to bring the rice and all the grains for the parents every day. So one day, this parrot found that there's not much food available in that location, and this parrot went to a field. There, the owner of that field, the farmer, the field owner, he was very generous. He was allowing all the birds to eat the grains. So he was eating the grains, but he was very surprised that almost half the crop is eaten by birds. And never it happened before. He was always generous. Then he thought, I have to now find out who that stranger is who is coming and eating. Not to punish, but to know, just to know. So he captured that parrot, he put a trap, and then he was put inside a cage. Then he asked the parrot, why are you taking so many grains? You are only one single bird. Then the bird said, I have two parents. I have my mother and father. They're blind. I have to feed them, otherwise they can't find the food. And I'm every day taking the food for them. That's why I have to take three meal. That's why I'm taking more grains. He was so touched, he released the bird. He said, I've given you the permission to eat anything, any amount, every time. I give you all the permission. So such small stories, really, we understand that compassion of Buddha also. Like parrots have families, birds, animals have families. When an animal, they have to feed their own family. And if we are killing the animal, they're also missing. They're going to grieve for the family. So I think these Jataka tales are so beautiful. I recommend the Jataka tales.
This is okay. See if you want to answer this. Newton sir, is it true that Patriji is the reincarnation of Anand, Buddha's cousin?
Yes, that's what I heard from Patriji. He is a reincarnation of Ananda, the cousin of Buddha. He stayed for 40 years with Buddha. So I personally heard this when Patriji was sharing about his past life. And I definitely feel the connection. I feel that it is so.
Yeah, even I feel the
Yes.
connection to the whole Buddha Buddhahood when we talk about Patriji and his community. Okay. So normal people are struggling with daily troubles. I understand karma will interfere, but practical issues and challenges concerning livelihood and emotions halt slow through the process. Do we plainly accept everything, or at times do we react to that?
Okay, we don't need to really react and suffer. Actually, suffering becomes more when we react. Instead, do mindfulness, because many meditators, even everyone has the survival issues. They have to struggle in their lives, and definitely meditation and awareness will help them to solve, and it makes them go through everything smoothly. We don't fear much, we don't react much, we can solve our issues. Meditation strengthens us. That's what I feel.
Yeah. A lot of people struggle with this, Dr. Newton, between karma and creating your reality. If everything is karma, then why create reality?
Okay, actually, I say that we must understand karma from multi-dimensional perspective, not as a only the linear perspective. Then it makes so much sense. Karma is not punishment at all. Karma is education. Karma is, maybe it has precipitated or it has made us to go through certain kinds of conditions here right now, which is actually helping you to raise above. It is actually awakening. It is education process. It's not like punishment. That's why we need to understand free will is more powerful than the karma. The karmic forces might be pulling you back, but the free will means what you can do now is much more powerful. You can change the course of your life.
So you can overcome. You don't have to be a slave to your karma. You can overcome it.
Not at all. Not at all. We are not slaves to the past at all. Not slaves to the past karmic forces. And we can actually cut all the strings of the past. And all the karmic forces can be released. It's like as we become aware and more awareness is cultivated in us, we will be able to drop the old past because the lessons we capture.
How do we develop compassion?
Okay. To develop compassion, I can give you one simple practice. Yeah. So, because everyday life, we have to see things. We'll be going on a road, we see. Even we watch the television, now we see people suffering. In our state, in Andhra Pradesh, in Visakhapatnam, there was a gas leakage and almost so many people died, humans and animals. So many animals died because the gas, poisonous gas, which was leakage from the factory. So when I was seeing, almost like I was having tears in my eyes. And in that moment, what can I do? I can send my compassion. I was actually saying in my heart that may all these people be free from suffering. So we can generate these kinds of thoughts and good feelings, loving feelings. This is a vibrational energy which we can send out, because our physical limitations are there right now. You can't go on helping the whole globe because COVID-19 is affecting everyone. We can't do that, but in your own, whatever way, in your own home, we can practice the loving kindness and compassion. So compassion arises in us when we can understand the pain in others. Just like me, others are going through the same suffering. Just like me, others also striving to be excellent in their life. Just like me, they're also trying to evolve and reach nirvana. So I'm not different from the other. So in that way, compassion is oneness also. In the oneness, we resonate, we empathize, we send out the helping hand, our astral hand, our energetic hand also. The compassion is such a beautiful energy which uplifts everyone. This is a simple practice. So whenever we are going on the road, you can do that. Whenever you look at people who are suffering, immediately these things can be done. You look at them with kindness, and you, in your heart, generate this feeling of compassion. And may they be free from suffering.
How can Buddhist teachings help ourselves to forget our painful past and deal with problems in the current time?
Okay. And Buddhist teachings is nothing but the theory, not theory. It's practicals. Entire Buddha's approach is practice. So Anapanasati meditation is a wonderful way to decondition. All the past you will be dissolving. The whole past will be completely not only just forgotten, it is eliminated. You will not find past because it's completely dissolved. He talked about after Anapanasati, before we reach to Vipassana stage, 4 mindfulness states. So one need to practice it, like mindfulness of the body sensation, Kayanupasana. And mindfulness of the feelings, feeling perception, Vedanupasana. Mindfulness of your memories, past life memories, all the memories coming up. It's also a cleaning process. And then Dhammanupasana, the phenomenon of rising and fall. He said, this is the complete Shuddhi, Antar Shuddhi, cleaning process. So that's why Anapanasati is first is the inner cleaning process, inner purification process. Your mind is totally deconditioned. And then we reach to Vipassana state. In the Vipassana state, your third eye, you have experience of the soul, like past lives, future lives, whatnot, all those experiences.
Somebody on that note has asked, can you share your own experiences of Vipassana?
Okay. When I was practicing my practice of meditation, my Guru Brahmashri Pitama Patriji, he was a strict teacher. And I used to ask so many questions because I was always an atheist and a non-believer of spirituality when I met him. But I liked his friendship, the way he respects everyone. That's why I was sticking to him. And he said, you stupid fellow, don't come to me and ask silly questions. I was at that time almost 19-year-old. Don't ask me silly questions. I want you to practice meditation for 3 hours every day. Watch your breath. Only one task I am giving. Observe your breathing for 3 hours every day. After 40 days, come and meet me. And I thought it was easy and simple, And I am a lazy guy, and before meditation also. So I thought, just I can sleep in meditation. But it was impossible. Consciously sleeping, sitting posture, it was difficult. My mind was struggling. And I went through whatever I explained about the deconditioning process. The Kayanupasana, the sensations, and all that, mind, restless, thoughts, feelings, emotions, all that garbage was coming out completely. I have to watch. I can't escape. I have to meet my Guru again after 40 days. Otherwise, he said, he will not meet me. He will not see my face. So I was continuing 40 days of intense cleaning process. All my past lives cleansed, like my childhood memories of where I was going through the abandonment, crying baby, and angry as a teenager, alcoholics, smoking cigarettes and destroying my lungs, whatnot, all that stuff. Everything has started coming up, all the painful emotions. But I was only watching the breath, watching whatever is rising, and everything used to rise and fall. I seen that in my body, these unpleasant sensations. I used to get terrible headache, terrible back pain, and body was aching. I want to wake up, but I continued. 3 hours practice every day. So the feelings and memories, those memories are really worst memories. I thought all the past lives will be nice, glorious, and where I'll be a hero and all that. It was surprising to see myself as a Roman soldier who was chopping the heads of people. I was a perpetrator, many lifetimes a perpetrator. And of course, there are balancing with many lifetime spiritual lives. I was a monk. I was an acharya teaching reincarnation and law of karma in ancient Takshashila. So this is like a beautiful process. Antara Shuddhi process happened. Briefly, this was my experience. After 40th day, I found a gift. My mind completely gone, extinguished, completely forever. It is dropped. Means only if I want to think a thought, it will come. Otherwise, there are no thoughts in my mind.
Wow.
Because something happened. I know the switch in my mind, and a big third eye appeared after 40 days practice. Then I could see things. I could see clearly anything that I want to know. I could see. So it has many fruits I received from this simple practice. Not at all difficult. And I had the darshan of Buddha, darshan of Krishna, darshan of Jesus Christ. These three masters, I could never forget their guidance they have given to me, the astral or spiritual guidance. And the darshan itself is something phenomenal for me, mind-blowing experiences. So these are some of the Vipassana experiences. Thank you.
And somebody is asking, how do we start meditation, and how do we keep going when there are obstructions to it, our meditation?
So the simple way is, remember A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E of meditation.
Okay.
A means asana. Asana means sukhasana. First, we need to be sitting in a comfortable posture. You select a posture where you can sit down very, very comfortably. You can sit down in a sofa, in chair, or on the floor, whatever is comfortable for you. And you need to join the hands together like this, interlocking the fingers, keeping them in your lap. This is called the right posture, Sukhasana. And then closing your eyes. So this is the step number A. The letter B stands for breath awareness. Now you pay attention to your normal natural breathing. As Anapanasati, Anapanasati. Means means out breath. Sati means the process to be one with. So be one with your in breath and out breath. Watch breath, observing the breathing. You don't need to take extra breathing, less breathing, more breathing, or don't retain the breath. Just be with the natural, normal flow of the breath. And the next is the C, the step number C. The letter C stands for cosmic energy. Once you watch the breath, the mind becomes zero and empty. As the mind becomes empty, you absorb the cosmic energy. So much cosmic energy. Then cosmic energy triggers our Shuddhi process. Is Nadi Mandala Shuddhi. In Patanjali language, it's called Nadi Mandala Shuddhi. In the Buddha's language, it is called Kayanupasana, Vedananupasana, Chittanupasana, Dhammanupasana. These four mindfulnesses will happen. So in that stage of cosmic energy, it almost like awakens all the inner blockages in the energy tubes. It almost, energy gushes there and pushes it out. That moment you get unpleasant sensations, unpleasant feelings, unpleasant memories, and all the cleaning process. And after that is called D. You enter into D. D letter stands for divine experiences. So many divine experiences. This state of Vipassana happens. So you have a third eye experiences, you have astral travel, sometimes you are Kundalini Shakti, and so many experiences, divine sounds, divine what is called visions, and you have divine fragrances. So many divine experiences come to you. And these are A, B, C, D. After that, E. E is called, as a result of all your mind experience, enlightenment. There is a bulb which is going to be lit inside your mind. Your mind is suddenly, wow, aha moment occurs to you. You suddenly feel, yes, I know what is the truth. One day you wake up with like a light inside which is lit inside your mind. So enlightenment. So this very simple A, B, C, D, E.
Lovely,
And
Dr. Newton.
yeah,
Thank you. This is a very good question. In a very simple, practical way, how would you make kids aware of Buddha and inculcate the Buddha in them? As in today's age, the digital world is very difficult to get them into spirituality.
Okay, so all the children are already Buddhas, natural Buddhas, because their mind is already very pure. A pure mind is called Buddha's mind. There are no unwholesome thoughts in their minds. That's why what we need to give them, offer them is mindfulness practice. So certain methods that we already have devised, where we conduct a program called Bala Maitreya program, Little Buddha's program. In that, children, if we teach them Anapanasati, they say meditate. Waiting for them, they have the active minds. So what we have designed to them, you can experiment, you can tell your own children that if you tell them now we're going to play, it's a playfulness. We need to approach to them, children, through playful way. In this play, we're going to become statues, like a Buddha statue. You have to sit like a Buddha, closed eyes, and show the picture of a Buddha or a statue of Buddha. And in this game, we're going to participate, all the children. Come, you have to sit like a Buddha. Till I say, okay, you should not open your eyes. So we experimented with it. And the maximum number of minutes they have really could keep their eyes closed is 30 minutes. Children who are just beginners, the first timers, when it is introduced as a playfulness, they feel tremendously. They are showing so much interest. Every child wants to be like a Buddha. We are sowing the seed of meditation to them, how to sit silently. And then we can give them a fruit to taste. We tell them, eat this fruit for 30 minutes. That's a kind of challenge to them. You have to appreciate the taste. You have to first touch the fruit. What's the texture? Look at the color of it. Hold it in your hand. Know the temperature of it. Smell it. What's the smell of it? And now taste. And when you're tasting, fully be engrossed in the taste. You must eat the fruit for 30 minutes. That cultivates awareness. I must tell you this, when we're conducting this program in Hyderabad, Bala Maitreya's program, and all the children, they learn the skills, mindfulness and the statue game and all that. After they went back homes, after 2 days, they were teaching that skill to their parents. And our parents are eating food and watching the television. They say, no, eat while you are eating. And speak while you are speaking. Don't do too many things at the same time. So these mindfulness skills can be taught to the children. And we can design all these beautiful ways to introduce meditation to the children. They need to do just not even 5 minutes. A 5-year-old child, 5 minutes, that's all. Because already they're divine minds only, Buddha minds. And mostly this, they are addicted to all the, PUBG games, to all the very, very dangerous, these kinds of computer games, because they want stimulation. We are living in the world of stimulation. We want stimulation from outside, because somewhere when parents don't have time to spend with the child, they have to find stimulations. They have to be excited. They need caffeine. They need high dose of Coke, caffeine and the Red Bull. They have to drink Red Bull, and because they keep to have to be high. And you find the young youth going in that direction where they're so addicted to these kinds of external gadgets. So I tell to all the young parents, spend time with your kids, play with them, kiss them, hug them. Time is love for them. When their children are given the love, unconditional love, by spending time with them, they feel complete. They will not be distracted. They will only come. They don't want to play PUBG game. They say, Mama, Papa, I want to play with you now. Yeah. So that, and really children are really masters. as parents, we can create such a beautiful ambience for them.
Right. Let me see. Anything else? Yeah, it looks like team. Can we scroll down? I can't see all the questions. Okay, so this is one last question, because this is a very relevant question.
Yes.
We will take this one last question. Why so many poor people, lakhs and lakhs, are suffering, but others are sitting fine? Why do they go through huge suffering along with families? Is it their karma? If yes, how can so many people choose it together?
And it's also not really because of karma. It is also collective lesson for the humanity, because Buddha's message to the world, he's a socialist also. He says equitable distribution. Mostly the money are stored in the banks, Swiss banks, and all the corruption, and all the money is not equally distributed. The farmers are suffering, and the poor people who are living on the daily wages, who are not really having even one meal a day, is just because the lesson for everyone. We must treat it as a lesson for everyone. We must feel very bad that how could we are living in such an advanced, civilized world right now. We call ourselves very civilized, but how could so many people are suffering? How could many people are going hungry and sleeping with hunger? And it's a lesson for everyone. When Buddha's message is rightly taken, the compassion. Compassion is helping hand. Buddha is not only meditating Buddha. Buddha in action means whoever is meditating, they also become immediately part of the, bringing the social change. They go actively to village, town to town. They want to really, whatever they can do. Maybe we can do the help through our words. Even kind words also can help them. If we have money, just giving some money to them and empowering them to start and motivating them to start their own, small businesses. Many rural communities, they require that support. Many daily wage workers also need that kind of motivation. So that I consider that it is the collective lesson for the whole humanity, and not just only people who are not having money. It's not because of their bad karma. Actually, there's not bad karma will not make us suffer here. Actually, it looks like that, but really it is educational only. So right now, all those meditators, they're offering to the world. They must immediately, at least one meditator must teach to at least 100 people, transmit the knowledge and information about the meditation to at least 100 people. Even all those people who are going to be learning meditation, they will come out of their own suffering also. For example, that's how the motivation can come. We experimented with certain villages around the Quantum Life University campus in Hyderabad. There are 500 villages. Our whole team, Sangha members, were all going to villages to teach meditation. Because many villages, there are no toilets. Certain utter poverty. They have very, very, not even proper clothes. And only offering money will only one day it will help. You may give clothes today, but how many years they can? So when we started actually making them learn the skill of meditation and about the mindfulness, how these thoughts create new realities. Because Buddha said, your thoughts create reality. He was insisting that those who have these really kind and really great thoughts, they create kind realities, great realities. So we could see the great change in people. So we don't need to depend on someone. We can always uplift our own selves. So that's why offering meditation to everyone is a wonderful way that we can also bring a change. And second is, whatever that helping hand that we can give, the equitable distribution of everything, the knowledge, power, money, success, everything need to be shared. The world belongs to everyone. Resources on the world belongs to everyone. So that's my answer to the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newton. It was a absolutely wonderful, wonderful, enlightening session, as always, with you. And wish you all the very best. And I hope to see you. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Think it's wonderful. Thank you, friends. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Bye.
Dear friends, warm welcome to all of you. And it's so wonderful to connect with all of you again. So dear friends, today we are going to talk about really an interesting topic, an essential topic that is very, very important for everyone on the planet Earth. Can you guess the topic, what the topic is? I know that it's already announced, you know it. So it's called doing nothing, and just doing nothing to do. So that's the topic for us today. So dear friends, I will be showing you certain slides to you. So this is the topic for us: Wu Wei, doing nothing. Doing nothing. These are the beautiful words that I always like, these words. And because somewhere these words convey a very deep message to the world. And for everyone, we can personally, individually can resonate with it. And Wu Wei is a Chinese word from the ancient times in